Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I will be building Tevat's resident therapist Yume Mizuki. Even though initially I was going to wait for her standard banner, I ended up being tempted to pull after doing her story quest and the Inazuma event. Let's start with prepping for her build. She's level 1, so there's a lot to do. I'm going to need to farm her boss drops, which is interestingly Natland boss, and her regional specialties are the sea Ganoderma and Inazuma. For the weapon, I have an extra 1000 floating dreams, which is Nahida's signature weapon from when I got my luckiest pull in Genshin. It's been sitting unused at level 1 for just over a year now, so I'm glad I can finally get around to using it. Her artifact set will be Viridescent Veneer, and I have a few viable pieces already, but we'll need to farm a bit more because I just don't have enough elemental mastery artifacts, which is her required stat. Alright, let's go ahead and start farming for her ascension boss. Mizuki needs the drops from the Wayward Hermetic Spirit Speaker boss in Natland, which is kind of interesting since she's an Inazuma character. I get that they make newer characters use newer region materials, but to me it would have felt a little more immersive in a way to farm for her in Inazuma, especially since her story quest and the Mikawa Flower Festival event were so Inazuma focused. It feels kind of jarring to come all the way out to Natland to level her up after enjoying those Inazuma quests. But at the very least, she does have some connection to Natland because if you go to the People of the Springs, she actually has like a business or something set up here. She has her little guy here manning the counter, and you can see her fans and her chairs. Anyway, I really don't like fighting this boss, especially when it splits into the mirror images. It makes the battle so time-consuming. Thankfully, my arlecchino melt team is strong enough to defeat her before she multiplies. Now that I've farmed enough boss drops, I'm gonna go to Inazuma and look for the sea Ganoderma. I'm using Goro in my team since he shows the regional specialties on the map. I actually don't mind farming these because they're so easy to spot with their bright blue color, and they're always clumped together by the water. I'm using my usual exploration core team, but honestly they aren't really cutting it today and I'm kind of struggling with some of these enemies. So I'm going to have to kick Shilonen out for Arlecchino. By the way, I recorded these clips before I got my C6 furina, so I can't really use furina as a DPS here. If you haven't watched my C6 furina video, check it out on my channel if you're interested. Anyway, like I said, I love how bright the Ganoderma are. Probably one of the easier specialties to farm in my opinion. This is my third separate time farming for them because I have both Kazuha and Yaemika who also use the Ganoderma.
Bounty.
Now that I finally farmed enough materials, I'll level and ascend her. I do eventually want to level her to 90, but right now I'm trying to focus on building more characters for my account. So I'll hold off on that for now and get her to level 80 just so I can save resources. Maybe if I pull more copies of her on the standard banner, I'll take that as the sign to max her out. Now onto the artifacts. I'm very much not a fan of farming for elemental mastery stats because they are just so hard to come by. If If you didn't know, artifacts have differing drop rates and EM is the lowest. That's why you see those HP and defense artifacts so frequently in comparison. So trying to get this full EM build with decent enough substats is pretty tough RNG wise. My Kazuha VV EM build isn't even good as it is, but now having to farm for another set is not so fun. I'm trying to get energy recharge as the main substat, and my rules are just not really in my favor right now. I even strongbox so many times, but those EM stats are just straight up avoiding me. I'll keep farming and strongboxing and hope to get some lucky pieces. So now I need some materials for 1,000 floating dreams. I'm just going to buy some from the shop first using the Stardust. This is turning out to be a journey all over to Vap because now I'm going to Sumeru for the weapon materials. I don't mind fighting these guys either because they're pretty easy, but because of how huge the Sumeru Desert is, it does take some time to walk over to each location. Also, their death animation takes so long, I'm starting to become kind of impatient while waiting for them to drop the items. I don't think I did any Sumeru Desert World quests yet, so I can't access some locked areas that might have had these enemies. I think it took me like 2 days or so to farm enough drops from my world.
I shall handle.
Sweet dreams! Let's fly!
Personally, I really like Mizuki's playstyle. I know that some people think that she's boring, which I understand since you basically just float around. But since most of my mains are pretty reliant on attack combos, it's kind of relaxing to have a more passive DPS. It's not quite as hands-off as an AFK team though, since you do have to hover around enemies and dodge their attacks, of course. I also need to farm some of the weapon ascension materials.
Ready.
Let's level up the weapon to 80 and finalize the build. And here is my Mizuki build. She's still a work in progress since I want to level her up to 90 later and also upgrade her artifacts if I can. She has over 1000 EM, which I think is a good milestone. She's on Nahida's signature weapon, also at level 80. Her artifacts leave a bit to be desired, and I did have to settle for this triple defense roll, but the important part is I was able to get the required EM main stats. I hope to pull more constellations in the future, and her talents are 1, 8, 6 as of now. Let's test her out a bit in the Spiral Abyss. The first team I'm trying is Electrocharge with Yaimiko, Furina, and Fischl. This Abyss has a leyline disorder that is made for Mizuki, so just note that she is kind of overperforming here. But on the other hand, she is only level 80 here in floor 12. To be honest, I don't really know the intricacies of the swirl reaction very well, so I don't even know which numbers on the screen are Mizuki's and which ones aren't. Since the enemies are dying at a reasonable pace, I'll just assume she's doing okay. The next team is a Hyperbloom team with Nahida, Furina, and Kuki Shinobu. I always find Hyperbloom a fun reaction to play, so I enjoyed this team. Next, I'm just playing an AFK Archon team with Furina, Raiden, and Ravika. My Raiden is not on an EM build, by the way, so I don't think she's contributing very much here with just her skill procs, but you get the idea. I'm thinking of changing her to an EM build though, so let me know if you have any thoughts or advice about that. Also, I'm purposely not using some of the team's bursts just so I can focus on Mizuki.
Sweet dreams.
Mizuki is really great for exploration, especially for a standard character. She's pretty satisfying to fly with. Her flying time is shorter than Chaska's, and I'm assuming Wander as well, but I don't have him, so I'm not entirely sure. But Mizuki's flying is pretty fun and useful, especially if you don't have another flying character on your account. I also think her flying feels really smooth, and I like how she does a little twirl when she dashes.
Sweet dreams.
This is the first standard character I've really committed to building all the way, so I definitely want to get her constellations. Of course, I don't want to lose my 50/50s, but I think it would hurt a little less if it were Mizuki. I'm for sure going to max her out in the future. In terms of being an on-field DPS, she's definitely not at the top of the list, but personally I love her playstyle, and I'll probably use her mostly in the overworld or for domains, so I don't really care if she's not the best choice for the Spiral Abyss or other challenging combat. I have other characters I can use in the Abyss, and Mizuki was just a fun pull because I like her character and design. That's pretty much it for Mizuki's build. When I level her up all the way, I'll make a new video to showcase that. Maybe I'll have some constellations and better artifacts by then. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing if you like cozy Genshin content, and leave a comment if you pulled Mizuki or want to get her in the future. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.